close with one of our students, graduates again, and Prof. Balkaran, the DVC Teaching and Learning, will do the closing. Please also take some time to view our exhibitors outside. Those are our own CPUT products and services. Our students that have worked in the various departments of faculties that have actually developed and produced homemade or CPUT-grown products that you can purchase either from them or you can get an understanding of what services is available around health and safety, disability, our student affairs, etc. So please make some time also to familiarize yourself with what is happening outside. So on the Staff Development Academy, you'll notice that we don't have what we used to have in the past, a 4-day induction program where you sit and listen to different speakers and you leave after the 4 days, and some of you might have forgotten what was said and who's who. So now that is on the Staff Development Academy. As I said, if you scan the QR code, it will take you directly to the SDA. All the presentations is uploaded on the SDA. So this is what it looks like. You have a tab, the home page, which gives you an overview of all the different departments that we collaborate with that offers some form of development to employees. Students are also able to access this. You must have a username and password if you want to apply for any particular program. You will see the number of departments such as Human Capital. Of course, I am part of Human Capital, offers a whole range of different information sessions as well as services. We've got a LinkedIn license. So any of you that do not find a course that is available on the SDA, you're welcome to contact your business partner and then consult with our department, and we will assist to arrange that particular program for you. So not everything is on the SDA because we want to customize it specifically to the needs of our employees. So if you go to the LinkedIn page, you'll see a number of programs that's there. You just put in your standard username and password, type in any course that you want to learn, and it will come up. So there's more than 100 different programs. Our Technology Transfer Office, we also collaborate with them, and they offer training on contract management, IP, etc. HERS SA, one of our collaborators for leadership development in women, for women, as well as gender equity programs. So males included as well in some of the HERS programs. Check Cape Higher Education Consortium offers some of our management development programs as well as some academic programs. Directorate Research Development, Continuing Education, World Library, CTS, and you'll see all the departments, which I'm not going to read through. If you click on them, let's click on Fundani, you will find an overview of the department, what they're all about, what do they offer, and some of the programs that they are also able to offer. Now, we don't necessarily put all the dates there. We do find when we put the dates, people either are not able to attend or they're not available. So if you're interested in any of these programs, then contact the relevant department to make that arrangement. So it's not to say we have everything to be confirmed. It's to be confirmed when it is available for you. So these are all the departments that we work with. When you go to the induction tab, it will give you a brief introduction of what is onboarding and induction. And there are 5 phases. Phase 1, you have completed that already when you were appointed either this year or some of you even last year, because we only run the meet and greet once a year we need to get the Vice Chancellor and executive team together. And the main purpose for today is to meet and greet the executive team and yourself so that you know who's who within the university, whether it's on this campus or any other campus. Your pre-onboarding, as I said, you've already completed that. It's all your forms, your medical aid forms, your beneficiary forms, your pension, etc. Your salaries have been paid already. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sitting here smiling. And you would have been given information on all the benefits that you qualify for, such as your staff rebates. You qualify for quite a good number of leave days, and you have good team members in your team and lots of opportunities at CPUT. The general induction, so on the pre-onboarding, you can click on there and you will also see some of the forms. If you have not completed any, there's a welcome video that you can watch. There's some compulsory forms or non-compulsory forms, and you can scan through that in your own time. Because I'm sure by now you've completed all the necessary forms. And your beneficiary form, which is also very important. If anything happens to you, who will then benefit from whatever you have obtained thus far? Your general induction, these would have been your 4 days that you would sit through and listen to all the presentations. You will click on the presentation, and there is a video that's pre-recorded. It will tell you who is Prof. Swimmer, what is the office all about, who's Prof. Balkeran. Dr. Firewood's no longer here, so some of the things we will need to update. Who's the executive finance, the registrar, also we need to update, and so on. So there's a few people that have left, and we will need to update with the new people that have joined us. So there's a number of presentations that you can view, and you can see what is being offered in these different departments, as well as all the different unions. So just as a quick overview also. So if you click on the department, let's say you click on employment equity, and you would like to have more information on this particular area. Nothing stops you from going to the Contact Us page, fill in the details, and email employment equity, or you employee relations or talent management, and ask them what it is that you would like to know. And I'm sure they will get back to you. If you do find any challenge or difficulty, just let us know. These are all the departments in terms of your induction and your presentations. Phase 3 is the departmental induction. Now, you all work in different departments, and each one of you have your own specific standard operating procedures, guidelines within the different departments. And sometimes you find it difficult because some of the people are not available to guide you, and you're looking for information. Who do you call when you have an IT problem? Who do you call if you don't have your staff card? Where do you park? Who's the line manager of XYZ? So we are trying to get to work with the business partners and each departments to put together a departmental induction as well. So when you click on Faculty of Business, it will tell you who's in the Faculty of Business and what they're all about. If you click on Student Affairs, it will tell you that specific detail. But we haven't completed this part yet. Phase 4 is your workplace development. There are a number of learning programs that's available on the SDA. Now, there's 2 parts to the workplace development, where it's my courses. We are also in the process of curating this for each and every employee with core or mandatory learning programs. So if you have to know how to do Adobe Sign, for example, we will then curate it in your username and password. So when you open up my courses, you will see these courses, some of these courses are already in your learning path that you must do. At the moment, we say we give you at least the year to complete all the learning. So you have until November. We advertise these programs regularly via Newsflash, via your Skills Development Committee member. Each faculty and administrative support department have a skills development representative, and we liaise with them on a continuous basis, and they must cascade the information down to you. So when you open, you'll see I've now opened mine because I've signed in with my name. So you can see I've done Adobe Sign 50%, which means I must still complete it. I didn't complete the full program. On the Code of Conduct, I've completed 67%. So in other words, it's on the system, or you have to attend it via a Teams online method, or it's a pre-recorded, or you have to attend in person. So different learning modalities. So if you've watched it for 20 minutes and there's still 30 minutes left, it will tell you you still have to complete it, and we would be able to track it. So we're not going to track now and give you an alarm bell to say, you know, you haven't completed. There's still time for you to do that until November. So these are your, let's call it core mandatory courses. We don't want to use the word compulsory. We don't like that word. So then if you go to all courses, you'll see there's a list of more than 80 different learning programs that we offer. Disciplinary and grievances, policies and legislation, employee relations, employee wellness, what is the business partner all about? So it's not necessarily a training course, it's also information sessions if you want to know what these are all about. Enterprise risk management, our HERS SA collaborators, Fundani offers a range of programs. So you'll see all of these programs are listed. Now remember, as I said, some of it don't have dates, because when we put the dates down, people don't feel that that date works for them. So we will do the date once we've got the names, and we will arrange it accordingly. So if you click on it, it will give you the overview of what the training is all about, what learning modality, etc., etc. So all these courses can be found on the SDA. Remember that not everything is on here. There are some things that we might not know that you need to discuss either with your line manager or your business partner, and then get in touch with us to see how we can accommodate you. So nothing is impossible. We will find creative ways to assist you. There's a whole list of resources. So if you click on resources, there's the policy library. You click on the policy library. For those of you that says you're looking for the policy in, let's say, admission of students, there's more than 50 up to 100 different policies on the policy library. Here you will just click on the policy and it will give you the policy. So there should be no excuse, colleagues, to say that I didn't know this is available or that's not available. All the policies that's been approved is on the policy library. There's academic policies, compliance policies, the policy development framework. If you need to develop a new policy, there's human capital policies. Whatever policy is available, you'll find it in the policy library. So that's on the training. And then just lastly, if we go back to resources, you'll also see we're in the process of, once you've completed a particular course that's online, you will be able to generate your own certificate. There's contact a department. We conducted a medical aid survey a while back. We need to take that off. Vision 2030, for those of you that don't know what Vision 2030 is all about, it's on the SDA, and Prof. Huysweme will also present. There's a skills development survey that we do annually to get an understanding of what are your learning needs so that we can plan for the new year. And then you'll also see a lot of other resources like, you know, the calendar, the national qualifications framework, etc., etc. So we've got our own sort of, let's call it, AI website. So everything is on here. Colleagues, on that note, I'm going to then step down and ask Dr. Faik Wahid to then take you through a presentation that is relevant to those of you that are teaching or those of you that are leading students. Just so before I hand over to Dr. Wahid, is there any questions that you would like to ask? So if there's no questions, then it looks like everyone is quite comfortable with the information that I have shared with you. So if you've experienced any frustration when you were appointed up to now, there's a whole range of information that you can find here and people that you can connect with. Dr. Wahid, you ready? Thank you, colleagues.
Good morning, colleagues. So my name is Faik Wahid, and I'm from a academic and student support unit called... yeah, I don't like standing in one spot. Okay, good morning, colleagues. So my name is Faik Wahid. Can you hear me now? Okay, good morning, colleagues. So my name is Faik Wahid, and I'm from an academic and student support unit called Fundani. And Shahida has invited me to just share what we do with regard to the academic support program that we have in place. So already I see a few of our TDP participants, so this might be old news to you. But for those of you who have never heard of TDP, I'm just going to give you an overview of some of the work that we do. So to help me structure my presentation, which I'm going to do on the fly, I need you to scan a barcode or go to the website on your phone, menti.com, or on any device that you have, and type in the code 89200339. Or you can scan the barcode. So we have 2 people. Thumbs up so far. Are we all there? Can I go? Still struggling? Okay, let's go. Okay, so this is a tool. It's an audience response system that we use. We've hardly used we hardly use PowerPoint anymore in Fundani. It's an audience response system, and you're going to use your devices to provide some input, and then we're going to perhaps have a discussion based on what you've inputted. So just to show you how the tool works, how was traffic this morning? Good, average, bad, very bad. I saw 2 accidents actually this morning. One just on the M5. Well, 2 on the M5 actually. It's quite a hectic road. But yeah, for you, mostly good. So most of you are in the northern suburbs then. I'm in the southern suburbs because it took me an hour to get here. Then, the next question, which faculty or unit are you from? We have 43 people here. Fundani, finance. A lot of people from human capital, finance, human capital. Oh, you human capital individuals here. Okay, so a range of different departments in the institution. What is DEES? What is the acronym for DEES? Oh, okay, so we have a lot of engineers here. Okay, FID. Okay, so we have a nice spread of individuals. Now I have another question for you. How did you learn to teach? How did you learn to teach? I mean, many of you are lecturers. So I just have a question. How did you learn to teach? So we have formal. So somebody that actually went to study education, a master's in education, from my teacher. Where's the individual that said from my teacher? Where's that person? So that person is now quiet. So my teacher, peer review tutoring, I don't teach. Okay, that's from my grandma, best teachers. Best teachers. I'm lucky my grandma is going on towards 90 now. I'm very happy to have her around. Okay, so many of you studied or did a formal qualification in teaching, okay? But it was interesting that one or two of you said, from my teacher. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how your teacher taught. I mean, when I think of myself, I was a very quiet individual, too scared to open my mouth. And people find it weird now when I tell them I talk in front of people now for a living. But I was a very quiet individual. Maybe that's what led me to go into, to do a PhD into democratizing teaching and learning. And yeah, so you get different styles of teaching, but if you're relying on perhaps a teacher that maybe wasn't that good, then it's going to have repercussions further down the line. I'm not saying that your teacher was bad. Okay. Now I have another question for you. So you've heard about Vision 2030, and Vision 2030 talks about oneness and smartness. So I'm interested to know, and this is all anonymous, what is oneness for you? What does oneness mean for you? So there's no right or wrong answer, because if you ask, from my experience, if you ask different units and different faculties, what does oneness mean, you're going to get different answers. The word that comes through is unity, Ubuntu, my favorite word, collaborating, teamwork, togetherness, fantastic. I think we have a good understanding, more or less, of what oneness means. So, us as a collective here, all right? Now I'm going to ask the question. Okay, it's still going on. So we have unity, togetherness, collaboration. So that's for you what oneness means. So now I'm going to ask you, what is smartness? What is smartness for you? I mean, because we have all these new state-of-the-art technologies, generative AI is taking over everything, innovation, technologically inclined, technology, efficient, digital, wise thinking. These are some nice ideas. I'm glad I'm capturing all of this. So when you hear the VC talk about oneness and smartness, he often says that they're two parts of the same coin, and they really cannot be detached. So if you think about this tool that I'm using here now, it can be regarded as a smart technology, but what is the purpose of it? I'm using it to bring you part of the process, of the engagement. So we can have the most sophisticated technology, and we've seen the WCED, back when I was a teacher, invest thousands, millions of rands into buying smart boards, and then it just stands there and people write with permanent cookies on the board and then that's it. No more smartboard. And so the point I'm trying to make is oneness cannot be detached from smartness. You use the technology to support the oneness, right? So in this example, instead of me just standing here in front talking to you, I want to promote oneness. I want to promote that engagement, and I use the technology to support that. So can you see, it cannot be detached. Okay. So that is really what we try to advocate for in the teaching development program and a lot of the other programs in Fundani. And our research indicates that teacher-centered pedagogical practices, such as me standing in front of a class and just disseminating information, represents a form of marginalization. And if individuals are marginalized, they're actually colonized. Because marginalization equals colonization. You marginalize individuals. So all the debates and what the university is trying to move towards is decolonization. All right? So how many of you as lecturers don't perhaps have control over what you have to teach? The curriculum is the curriculum. I have to teach maths. I have to teach Newton's third law. But what you do have control of is how you teach the curriculum. And in that way, you can promote then decolonization. So we're not talking about decolonizing the content. Well, you can decolonize the content, but we're talking about decolonizing your pedagogical practices, how you teach. And that is one of the main goals of the TDP. We want to promote a form of democratized teaching, all right? And this form of democratized teaching, we equate to the ethic of Ubuntu. And how funny was it that when I asked you, what does oneness mean for you, you indicated Ubuntu, all right? So decolonization equals democratized teaching and learning equals Ubuntu, which equals CPUT's notion of oneness. Okay. So, the TDP program is really informed by Vision 2030, this notion of a democratized form of teaching and learning, Ubuntu, and also the national framework for enhancing academics as university teachers. For us as academic staff developers, that is really the go-to document or guideline, should actually be my Bible for what we're doing to support the activities in the institution. And you will see all of them align. All of them align. And that is basically what we try to inculcate in the TDP program. So for those of you who haven't signed up, it's compulsory for you to do the TDP program, so you will be stuck with me for a year and some of the other Fundani colleagues. And these are the type of things that we try to develop within you, all right? So like I said, this is the action imperatives of the national framework. So we try to, just to give an example, enable continuous professional development opportunities for you. We want to promote leadership development. So all of these aspects are covered in the TDP program. These are just some examples of some of the comments that, or the process that we go through to assist lecturers to develop their teaching philosophy and so on. And we've seen some success. When I saw the Teaching Excellence Award recipients, I saw most of them, or many of them, I should say rather, are TDP participants or have attended many of our training sessions. In fact, one of the colleagues that won a commendation for the National University Teaching Awards, one of 3 individuals attended many of our offerings. So that tells me we are on the right track. Okay. So other aspects that we cover in the TDP program is to assist you in your conceptualization of blended learning. We have quite a big section on multilingualism. And we also cover student support mechanisms available to you and that you can draw on to support your students. We also cover the CPUT generative AI guidelines, and we really want to assist you and help you to augment your teaching practices, because this is a very disruptive technology. And we look at how it can improve the engagement also in the class. We also offer, more or less, once you've completed the TDP program, we also offer a scholarship of teaching and learning program. And you do the program, and we would hope that your teaching, well, we know your teaching will improve, but what gives us real, what is the word I'm looking for? What tells us that your teaching has really improved is whether you have published on your teaching and learning, all right? Because research informs practice. So we have an ongoing program heavily focused on using generative AI to help you write an article focused on improving your teaching and learning, okay? So this is the framework that we use. It's an action research study, whereby we ask you to in a lot of detail, answer these 8 questions. And then, let me just give you an example of a completed one. You have a document that looks more or less like this. So what is your research problem? Lack of learner engagement. So you see, it's all related to oneness. There's a lack of oneness clearly in the classroom. Many of the colleagues come up with technological. And then we assist colleagues to write an article. So let me show you how it can look. So this is what we do. Where did it go? Just give me a second. Am I still okay with time? 2 minutes. Okay. So this is awkward. So we get colleagues to go through a process like this, and then we ask them, we use generative, let me just show you how we use it. Give me, I'm just going to type with my both hands. Give me an outline for an article of 4,000 words for the South African Journal of Higher Education. All right? What else do I want to put in? No, that's enough. Word limit. Oh, yeah. So you will see, just based on that picture and all the... This is just an example of what we're doing in SOTL. So there we go. Some of the key topics, some of the sources. Jack Whitehead, I know Jack Whitehead, he was my doctoral examiner. And links to resources. And this is everything I would need to be able to potentially write an academic article. So we try and make it as simple as possible, because we know that you are specialists in your discipline of engineering and so on, but educational writing is a bit more nuanced, and we'll be able to give you support on that. So these are just 2 of the many programs that Fundani offers. Dr. Cupido, I know we could go on for quite a while, but I think for the purposes of this demonstration, or this presentation, I should say, that is 2 programs that I think specifically we have targeted for lecturers and can support you on your journey at CPUT. So you can send me an email. Our TDP program is full for this year. We We had a limit of 40 people. We've had to expand it to 50. So if you are interested in TDP and you've recently joined but not signed up yet, send us an email. Send me an email, and we'll put you on the list. Thank you, colleagues. Are there no questions? Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Wahid. There's one question. Where was the... Oh, sorry.
Good morning. I think that was a wonderful presentation, and thank you for that insight. Just a question on the GPT that you've used. Is that a CPUT-created GPT, or is that a general GPT? And I'm just asking because that's actually the field that I teach in. So it's just interesting and always trying to keep abreast on the information. So is it a specific GPT that has been created, or is it general?
No, it's not. It's not a GPT at all. You could possibly take that same outline, put it into Gemini, Bing AI, Copilot, and it will come up with something similar. So the idea is to give you ideas of prompts, because the AI tools are quite powerful, but the idea is we want to give you the correct prompts to get the information in a particular way.
I think I would like to send you a mail. My PhD is in drone technology.
Okay.
So I delve deeper into the more the delve learning and what going into the 5G and the quantum computing. So
Fantastic.
I'll send you a mail on that.
Drones have gotten me into a lot of trouble, especially in my area. Yeah.
The actual technology, not the infrastructure.
Okay,
But we'll chat.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Wahid. I'm just going to do a short, sorry, you want to have one question, yeah. Ms. Tom Benchley, if you could maybe just go to the podium, and you just want to quickly go through some health and safety issues. But let's answer this question.
Sorry, it's just a quick question on the facilitation of the TDP. I've signed up twice, but had to pull out due to teaching responsibilities on the day of TDP. Taking into account that blended learning is a core component of the TDP, is there any possibility of the TDP program being run in a blended manner?
Well, some modules or some sections in the TDP will be run as blended. But to answer your question, the program is funded by the University Capacity Development Program. They've got strict requirements for how we can use basically the funds. And the way we signed, we set up the project, it was for a face-to-face program. So in a way, we are actually curbed by DIET in that way. To have it as a online, as a face-to-face session. But from experience, the level of engagement we get in a face-to-face workshop is much higher than that of an online workshop. I mean, I've been working now at CPT for close to 10 years, and I've had workshops, and if it's online, there's sometimes limited participation. Even if you use a tool like a Mentimeter or so on, and so we try to build that community, which is why we have this writing retreat. Also, we build a community of practice, and it's sometimes a bit difficult to do in an online setting, but I understand that you have a lot of challenges with regard to your teaching load, and I mean, the only advice I can give is that you perhaps speak with your HOD to get some form of teaching relief. Yeah, I don't know how that will go.
Thank you, Dr. Wahid, and thanks for that question. And as I said, on the Staff Development Academy, you've got Fundani, and you are able to fill in the form or contact them directly. Colleagues, just a quick emergency evacuation procedure before we call our brilliant students to the fore, and then we will ask the Vice-Chancellor to do an official welcome.
Good morning, colleagues. Thank you for coming. Please take a moment to listen to this emergency evacuation procedure. I think the sound is...
Sound good.
Welcome to Cape Peninsula University of Technology. Before we begin with today's programme, I would like to take a moment to share important emergency evacuation procedure with you. Please take a moment to note the following important safety information regarding emergency procedure for this venue. 2 possible emergencies that may require emergency evacuation, fire incident or bomb threat incident. In the event of any of these 2 emergencies, you will be informed or notified promptly. Please remain calm at all times. You will receive instructions to evacuate the building. Do not run. Familiarise yourself with the location of the exits. This auditorium has 4 exits, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Use the nearest exit to you. Proceed to the assembly point located outside between the admin building and the main sport hall. When evacuating, please take your personal belongings with you. Re-entry into the building will not be permitted until it has been declared safe. Where possible, switch off electrical appliances and close all doors behind you as you exit. In the case of a bomb threat, do not touch any electrical appliances and do not close any doors or windows. Remain at the assembly point for accountability, roll call, or further instructions. Please take note of the following emergency numbers. City of Cape Town General Emergency 107, Ambulance 10177, National Emergency Number 112, Police 10111. Remember, exit smart, stay safe, and be accounted for. Thank you for listening.
Colleagues, thank you so much for listening, and feel free to visit our table to learn more about safety. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Ntombensri, for taking us through the evacuation and emergency procedures. May I ask that our wonderful, amazing students come to the front, please? Colleagues, these are our CPUT students. So not only are you working at the best university in the country and in the world, we also have the best students. So without further ado, I'm going to allow our conductor of our CPUT students to show you the talent that we have at CPUT. Please do proceed. Thank you very much for those beautiful melodies from our students. Thank you so much. Just once again to our students and to Ms. Marisa Lucas, we want to extend a very, very warm thank you and gratitude to our students for their blessings as well as their talent, and CPUT is CPUT with you. So we thank you once again. Just something from your side, would you like to say something?
Unprepared speech. Thank you to the Vice Chancellor for giving us this opportunity. We know that everyone loves the choir, and we love to do things like this, and we would like to do more in the events of the university. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm here, don't worry.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Okay, on behalf of the CPUT choir, we would like to thank the university for giving us this opportunity to come and bless you guys with the renditions that we just delivered. We wish to receive more invitations, and yeah, thank you.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Colleagues, what's next on our program is what we have all been waiting for. So may I ask if the Vice-Chancellor, the Deans, the Executive can please take a seat on the stage. Deans, Senior Directors, Deputy Vice-Chancellors. I think we have a new Dean as well, our new Dean of Business. Please join us and on the stage.
And a registrar.
Registrar, Executive, DVC. Thank you to the Vice-Chancellor, our Executive, Registrar and Deans for joining us on the stage. The next part of our program will hand over to our Senior Director, Ms. Dwani, from Human Capital, who will introduce the Vice-Chancellor. Then Ms. Dwani will then follow with introducing also Prof. Swimmer and the rest of the speakers, as well as a Q&A towards the end, and then Prof. Balkaran will close the program. So I'm handing over to Ms. Dwani now. Thank you very much. Ms. Dwani.
Thank you, Ms. Hendricks, and good morning, colleagues. I want to welcome you to CPUT and wish you a long, happy, healthy, prosperous career at CPUT. Colleagues, it's my honor and pleasure to introduce our first speaker, the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of CPUT, Professor Nkongwane Chris Ndlapo. Like any good human capital professional, I did what we refer to as snooping. Because the Vice-Chancellor has a long and illustrious list of achievements, but I wanted something with a personal touch, you know, something that made him relatable. And of course, I put a call through to his office and was met with discretion like I've never encountered. You know, I even got to the point of, does he have any animals? Does he play an instrument? And all I would be drawn on is he loves sport. So I said, great, you know, last week we had a massive derby between Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs. Which one? And the response was, he loves all sports. So, so colleagues, I want to introduce you to our fearless leader, who is a family man, somebody who is fair and ethical, lives by his principles. He loves CPUT to the core of his being, and he is passionate about sports. One of the comments that I heard is that his work ethic is second to none. I have not seen anybody so dedicated during my 34 years of employment. So that's what you've signed up for. Professor Nhlapo is the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. He holds BSc in Chemistry and Mathematics, BSc Honours in Chemistry, MSc in Chemistry, and a PhD in Chemistry. He also holds an HED from the University of the Free State. Prior to his role as the Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Professor Nhlapo was the first DVC Research, Technology, Innovation, and Partnerships at CPUT, and in this role, he was responsible for, oh, my document's closed. He was responsible for the initiation of the portfolio, of the RTIP portfolio, and the development of the RTI blueprint and strategic documents that support what we currently see in practice at CPUT. Prof. Nhlapo has, I'm really getting old, I can't see. He served on the Research and Innovation Strategy Group of the Universities of South Africa Forum. He is a past chair of the Cape High Education Consortium and current chairperson of TENSA. He's undertaken numerous postdoctoral training sessions in subject-specific fields, as well as research management and technology transfer. Professor Nhlapo is a well-renowned international speaker and has made presentations to numerous international research management conferences. He's a fellow of the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry and has worked within Commission 4, where he focused on strategic projects of the Commission. Colleagues, there's much more to say here, but allow me without further ado to introduce you to Professor Nhlapo and welcome him to the podium. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dwani, for the very kind introduction. Appreciate it. Program Director, let me also acknowledge the platform to welcome our new recruits. And I was actually sitting down there and I was actually saying, it looks as if we were very busy in the past year and the early part of this year. Before I check as to our reach, I will be failing in my duty if I am not acknowledged in the CPUT choir. I'm always moved by this choir, and they are very, very consistent. In the past graduation, I was forced when I arrived in my office to say to one of my PAs, please make sure that you give this letter, this note, handwritten note, to the conductor. I'm really impressed. They are doing brand CPUT good. Let me just check as to, are there people coming out of the country in terms of recruitment? If you can just indicate by your hand. Out of the country. Eastern Cape. Western Cape. Gauteng. KwaZulu-Natal, Free State. Okay. Northwest. Okay. Mpumalanga. Okay. I think I've exhausted all of them, am I? Northern Cape. I was deliberate. Northern Cape. So you can actually see we cover the entire country. So we are not a provincial institution. We are indeed a national institution. We cover far and wide, and we appreciate diversity as an institution. And I'm actually happy about that. And well done to HC that we have footprints from everywhere. Let me start by saying Happy Africa Month. This month we are celebrating or commemorating the formation of African Union, particularly the precursor, which was the Organization of African Unity, which was OAU, that was formed a couple of years ago, the 25th of May, 1963 in Addis Ababa by 32 heads of states who, of course, in their deliberations, they also decided to include a number of leaders from liberation movement. And of course, they were actually looking at the liberation of their brothers from Rhodesia, then now Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Angola, and of course ourselves in terms of support and assistance. So we are really celebrating that particular month to say, let's reflect about the wonderful work done by our past leaders in terms of the liberation of the continent. But before I do, Program Director, allow me to also say that this year we're also celebrating 20 years of the anniversary of this institution, having been formed in 2005, and we are now 2025. So my arithmetic is actually telling me that we have 20 years of hard work behind us, and we'll be celebrating that under the theme 20 years of growing from crates. I will actually come back to that. But as we are saying that every person, every company, and of course every agency is having a strategy. And at this institution, we are busy with the implementation of Vision 2030, the decadal plan of the institution. But we know that every organization faces both challenges and opportunities. But to address the challenges, one always have to locate the cracks. If you can actually locate the cracks, you will not be dealing with peripheral issues will be dealing with real issues. And of course, that's the art of strategy. Sometimes we misunderstood the term strategy, and we think that strategy is a wish for an end state. That is, at the end of these 10 years, we will be a leading university of technology, but that is not the case. Every step is important and must be celebrated. And when it comes to strategy, we know that focus is the cornerstone. You can't be everything. You have to focus on areas that you think you are world class. And as an institution, we don't spread our resources thinly, so we follow what is called a focused approach. Hence, we talk about the focus area as an institution. We always talk about the issue of strategy versus tactics, that those two goes hand in hand. You can't talk about tactics without strategy or strategy without tactics, because great authors are always telling us that strategy without tactics is nothing. Strategy without tactics is nothing. It's not going to help anybody. And the same applies with tactics without strategy. And hence, as an institution, we follow what is called a challenge-based strategy. We know our challenges, and we are addressing those particular challenges. And today we are here at the University Staff Induction. And normally, the Staff Induction program is a structured process, please underscore that, designed to welcome new employees, help them acclimatize to their roles, and integrate them into the university's culture and operation. It is not a one-time event, but rather an ongoing process providing support and guidance. The fact that it's a process is very important, and the fact that it's not a one-time event. So we must trust the process. Now, some of the core elements of a university staff induction program, I believe, are the welcome and orientation that we are having today, and of course, role clarity, number 2, faster integration and productivity, and policy and procedure familiarization, and introduction to systems and technologies. We always say at this institution, once you are part of CPUT, take the first few months to acclimatize, understand our policies, understand our infrastructure, understand our technological systems, because those are the tools that you need to operate. I always say to my colleagues that it will not help you if you are saying, where I come from, this is how we used to do it. You are here now. So don't tell us what was happening where you are coming from. Learn about our own policy and how do we do things here. And if you don't read our policies, our strategies, our guidelines, you will be found wanting. And also learn our workplace culture. And I can tell you, we are very strong when it comes to ongoing support. We believe in open door policy. Please, if you are actually looking for anything, our doors are open. And we are here to assist you, whether you are coming from admin support or you come from the academic side. Our role is to ensure that we create an environment where you can be the better version of yourself, where you can contribute immensely to the institution. So a warm welcome to you from the management, from staff and students of the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. Some of you assume your duties, I know, this year, and others are here since the latter part of last year. And all of you, we wanted to say thank you. Thank you for choosing CPUT as your place of employment. You could have chosen any other institution. And I sincerely hope that you will be happy here and achieve the personal and professional goals you have set for yourself. To know where you are going, it is important to know where you are coming from. So it may be useful to understand a little bit about the institution that you are joining. I'm tracing my step to the 20 years anniversary of this institution. And the discussion started way back in 2002 with the National Plan on Higher Education by the then Minister, Professor Kada Asmal, around the measures of institutions to change the higher education landscape. 2003, the name CPUT came into being after a fierce debate about what we call this entity now. You got 2 SRCs, you got 2 vice chancellors, you got pairs of deans. Everything was in 2. Of course, are we having the headquarters as Belleville or Cape Town? That was the discussion then. A number of names in Kranja Bay were bandied about, and ultimately they settled on a name, CPUT. And I always say, at that time in 2003, there were a lot of debate as well around this acronym. Some people were saying this is CPUT. Some were saying this is kaput. But I can tell you we attest and we don't want to hear anybody saying CPUT or kaput, because we are not kaput. We are CPUT. That debate was settled way back in 2003. How do you pronounce this acronym? Don't take shortcut and say CPUT. No, it's not. It is CPUT. Take your time. I must say that after all the bickering, we are now one university. That's why we are saying we are now building on some of the great leaders that this institution have had. And there is no more debate about the headquarters or the seat of power of this institution. Our statutes are very clear. The seat of power of this institution is Belleville Symphony Road. But we are one. So as I've indicated, that CPUT was established in 2005 because of the merger of the 2 technicons, the Cape Technicon and the Peninsula Technicon. Both of these were strong, vibrant institutions, each with a rich history of their own. Perhaps many of you even study at one of the heritage institutions. This measure makes CPUT the largest university in the Western Cape, both in terms of real estate as well as in terms of sheer size. If you look at our enrollment numbers, we are a big operation. We are almost everywhere in the peninsula. From Boland, we are there. Cape Town, we are there. You go to the south, we are there. So we are everywhere in the peninsula. It's a very big operation. This year, we are talking about enrollment of around 38,300. That's how big we are as an institution. We have 5 campuses. I will not mention them, but we know that we are there in the CBD. We are here in Belleville. We are up in Boland, in Wellington. And we, of course, we are there in Mowbray. That's where we train the best teachers, as well as Wellington. I can tell you there are people coming as far as Tabazimbi, if you know where Tabazimbi is. They wanted to come and study and be trained as teachers here because we produce the best teachers. And I normally have meeting with principal. I haven't had a principal who's saying a teacher coming from CPUT is not the best, because we teach the basics right. We teach people how to teach. Teacher development is at the core of what we are doing. Colleagues, this country is facing a crisis when it comes to teachers. I don't even want to talk about the teacher of mathematics, engineering, and technology, because we are facing the scarcity of teachers in those particular areas. If we talk engineering, graphics, and design, we are having a challenge, and of course, IT. But here, we do have people who are teaching learners, and of course, students, because we are also playing our role in society in terms of not complaining, but playing our role as an anchor institution in society by helping matriculants, by helping high schools to attain the best marks. Granger Bay and Wellington, as well as the presence in other areas like Grooteskier and Tiger Valley and Tigerberg, are some of the areas that you'll find the footprint of this institution. And we are busy with the process of consolidation. I think some of you will see that there is a lot of construction going on here in Bellville. That's part of consolidation process. Applied science is going to be consolidated here. In fact, all the sciences are going to be consolidated here. Business and other entities in Cape Town. And I know that some of you may actually have seen CPUT in media for all the good things that we have achieved. These are some of the first in the continent, and perhaps in the globe as well. You know that, or you may have read about our recent achievements in media, like the successful launch of South Africa's second nanosatellite into space. Those satellites are built here at CPUT. And we are harvesting the data for the country and the continent. You may know that we are very strong when it comes to health and food sphere, because CPUT is exploring novel food sources that can offer the population affordable but nutrient-rich nourishment. And you can actually hear more about this if you engage Professor Kyoko and people from applied science. There are edible insects that we can actually get protein cheaper. And some of us who come from the rural areas, we used to eat these insects. You know, the locusts are very rich in protein, for example. But today people are saying, no, you can't. Those are some of the edible insects that we are exploring to ensure that we can actually have protein at a very less cost. This is the institution where we are exploiting our indigenous rooibos tea or rooibos plant, because this is part of the oxidative stress research center in harnessing the full potential in a variety of innovative products. So we do have that center here. Similarly, there are a number of omega-caro-E products that are also produced at this institution. And if you are looking for any idea, because we follow what is called an open innovation, if we have wonderful ideas, we are willing to assist you to ensure that you can exploit that particular idea and commercialize it. we have a very strong intellectual property management office that makes sure that we assist the community and we assist our students in terms of dreaming and, of course, benefiting from their intellectual property. Ladies and gentlemen, I could go on and on, but I'm sure my colleagues will be exploring this and many more innovations in their own slots later. There is a lot going on at CPUT, and as can be expected from a university of our size, we expect nothing but these exciting things that are happening. There are many challenges, but at the same time, this is also a place with numerous opportunities. It depends. We look at the challenge, but the challenge is an opportunity in disguise. And I must say that the greatest aspect that I'm actually proud of, Ms. Hendricks, is the whole question of staff development. If you look at our staff who are developing and improving their qualification, it's a large number. So at this institution, we are all learners. It's not only students, all of us. That's what I expect of you. You can't say I got a PhD now, that's the end. I expect you to be better than yesterday. When you look back today, you must actually say, today I'm better than yesterday. And we support you on those particular aspects. When you started some few years ago, we're talking about very few staff members with a PhD. It was actually like when people are having a PhD, it was like a miracle. But today, when I have to address staff member, I ask myself, is it Misty or doctor? I have to be careful here, or a professor. That's what a university is all about. We expect that at every corner, at minimum, you must actually have a doctoral qualification. Because this country has chosen PhD as a key driver of change. This country has chosen PhD as an innovative and key driver to be a bedrock of innovation. That's why the National Development Plan is talking about a large number of PhDs per million population. We are standing at about 38.3% of our staff members with PhDs. That tells you a story that almost half of our staff now are having PhDs. So if we haven't started, think about it, and think about registering because you got the support. We also have reciprocity agreements with institutions like UWC. Yesterday I was hosting the Vice Chancellor there because we got a standing meeting. We are neighbors. And one particular aspect that talk about is actually staff development. How do we ensure that this reciprocity agreement that can study at UWC and they can study here and of course receive rebate. And we have extended that to a number of universities under TENSA. Universities of Technology, and of course, Comprehensive University. As a leader, it's something that I pride myself with, that you can study at any UOTs, and there are no costs. So all that we want is just you have to make that particular effort. So leverage these opportunities to your advantage. As we support you in reaching your full potential, we also expect the same in return. I would like to expand this particular point. We expect the same in return. That's why we are always saying, at this institution, there is something called CPUT time. My colleagues knows about this. That we maximize on the time that we are having at CPUT. The time that is CPUT, it's CPUT time. When we're saying we are starting at 8, we are starting at 8. We don't start 1 minute past 8. That's very late. we start at 8. The same goes with the meeting, and we expect the same with classes. You don't come to classes when you found that the student had been sitting there waiting for the lecturer to come. We frown upon such ideas. We start, if the meeting is 9 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, whether virtual or face-to-face, 9 o'clock we start. And we make sure that we also finish on time. The same applies with classes. So, as we support you in reaching your full potential, we also expect you that we have to make sure that we leave CPUT a better place for the next generation by making sure that we do the same in return. CPUT needs your support to reach its full potential. We need every member of the CPUT community to play their part, whether in an admin or academic post. Sometimes people will say, but no, the VC is talking to only academics. I'm not talking about academics, we're not talking about a PhD. Because in terms of scholarship and contribution, we encourage you, even if you are the head of a protection unit, we wanted you to study, we'll support you to ensure that when other universities are looking for a benchmark or an emerging practice, they are coming here. That's basically what we want. And I can tell you, we are well on our way to achieve those particular aspects. I haven't talked about the aspiration of being the MIT of Africa. Some people will say that now these are dreams because people don't understand that. All that we are saying in the same way as the US is looking at MIT, Africa must actually look at CPUT in the same way as they look at MIT. Because our shape and size is exactly as MIT. We want dreamers, we want innovators, we want people who contribute to society. We are not only teaching theory, but we appreciate the practice. We encourage positive climate and culture at CPUT. That's very important. And we endeavor to provide good customer service to anyone that we encounter. I always talk about serendipitous collisions, that the two of us, when you collide on our corridors, that must be a teaching moment. When we engage and we bump into each other, we must talk about the institution, we must talk about ourselves. That's where teaching should be taking place. We also value our people. That's why we talk about the 3U, Ubuntu, Ubunye, Ungafal. Because when we evaluate in Vision 2020, which was crafted in 2010, after 10 years, we found that we were actually pushing too much of technology. But technology without people is an absolute failure. We felt that now when we craft a new strategy in 2017, we said we must talk about oneness. We must always try to ensure that we build unity and coherence within the institution. Program Director, I'm concluding now. CPUT positions itself as one smart CPUT. Smart because we want to harness the benefit of the latest technology to improve, but also to ensure that we move together as a unit. We cannot do this alone, so we need every shoulder. We need every support from the students, from our cleaners, from our security, from our professors, from our associate professors. We must move together as a unit. and I can tell you I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's why at the beginning of the year, we are having these problems of a large number of students. In the same way that we have seen diversity here, you've got students who are coming from Venda, and I can tell you they pass all the institutions in Gauteng, in the Free State. If you take N1, you know what I'm talking about. All the way to Cape Town. And Cape Town, they come all the way to CPUT. Because this brand is something else. I always say to people, it is not a mistake that we have never been under administration. It is not a mistake that we have never had a qualified audit at this institution, because it is a matter of common cause. We expect nothing less than that. We actually underscore or buttress everything that you are doing with strong ethics, particularly when you are dealing with community resources or public resources, because our job is simple. We want to build this mighty CPUT for the next generation. We want our grandsons and daughters, when they come here, they must actually find this place far better than when Sharp was the Vice-Chancellor. And that we can actually do if we hold hands. Well, there are always differences, but we always say there are solutions. Let's work together to achieve this lofty dream. I always say to people that in 1932, when the concept of Ivy League universities, you're talking about Princeton, Harvard, Cornell, MIT was not actually part of that. Even in this country, we have what's called a top 5 institution. I will not get into those politics. But you know, in terms of Ivy League, MIT is not an Ivy League, but it's far better than the Ivy League institution, to the point where they co-opted them as associate member. So all I'm saying, we are going to do our work. The results will speak for themselves. And we can see in terms of collaborations that people are taking notice of this institution. Die Skiereiland Universiteit van Technologie. That's the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. And I'm inviting you to make this happen. And we are already there. We can do it. Some people in January were very despondent to say, you got so many bags at the gate, you got so many. That's what success will do to you. That's the product of success. Because everyone wanted to be here. We appreciate that. Let me wish you well during your stay at CPUT. May it be long and happy one. Grow with us. Together we can achieve all the bigger and better things. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your induction program. Baie dankie dames en here. Ndiyabulela mawethu. Enkosi.
Thank you very much, Vice-Chancellor. Those are incredible words of motivation and just setting an expectation of what it is that you expect of us as employees at CPUT, and I hope colleagues are encouraged and motivated Ms. Hendricks's learning and development pockets are deep. So that's just an invitation for you to engage in the prolific offerings and benefits that CPUT has to offer, and one of those is developing yourself professionally and personally. Colleagues, the next speaker who is going to share with us the history of CPUT is Professor Driekie Hayswemer, who's the Executive Director in the Office of the Vice Chancellor. Professor Hayswemer's name is synonymous with excellence, with plowing back, with passion, leadership, with cracking the whip, and making sure that we are all doing what we are supposed to do. Professor Hayswemer also has a very deep heart for students and making the CPUT environment one where students are taken care of in the various ramifications that can happen within the university. So I'm going to hand over to Prof. Hayswemer and ask her to share the history of the university with us. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you so much for your Vuyokazi. The Vice-Chancellor has actually done me a favor by giving you indeed a brief overview of the history of the university. But I think maybe something that I would like to add is to say that our very first Vice-Chancellor was a female with the name of Professor... Now I must just get the names right here. I wasn't here then. I was born then, but I wasn't here. Professor Linio Vuyisa Mazitanga, she was the very first Vice-Chancellor of the merged institution. And the first Chancellor of CPUT was no one else than Dr. Trevor Manuel. And then we also have one of our alumni in the name of Mr. Edward Kieswetter, who's now the head of SARS. It's always good to have, that kind of alumni close to you. So I just thought it's maybe good also to hear who were the first leaders of this wonderful institution. And as the Vice-Chancellor mentioned, it was part of the transformation of higher education in South Africa. And that meant that these 5 campuses, I think VC didn't mention or didn't put specific emphasis on the hotel school in Granger Bay, which we are very proud of. And I hope that you will go soon there for some other meetings, but it's a beautiful campus, so much so that everyone wants to buy our beautiful property. But it's our property, we will not let go. So quite often when people have to talk about a strategic plan, the response is, oh, that is so boring. Isn't it just another document that should land on the shelf, gathering dust? I was very privileged when I started at CPUT at the end of 2019 to be asked to finalize Vision 2030. A lot of work then has been done by various colleagues, but the big thing then was to get it approved by council and to get the buy-in from everyone. So it was a bit of fun as well. And I remember having a couple of discussions with colleagues who've been here longer than I was then here. And it was said that we had a good Vision 2020. But as the Vice-Chancellor also alluded to, it's always difficult if you get 2 cats together. You want to herd them, bring them together. Mergers are never, never easy. And it's because of different cultures, but we need to get it right. We need to become one university, and that is where the name One Smart University, and specifically One Smart CPUT, then came from. So, what is a smart university? And sometimes when I look at the word smart university and people ask me now, what does it mean in Afrikaans, which is my mother tongue, there's not a nice word for that. You will get up with slim, but slim university. So I personally think this word smart is really smart. But what is the definition? And I will be very short this morning. I'm not going to give you a lecture on the vision, but I've tried just to take out some of the most important things that I would love you to take with today. A smart university harnesses the potential of digital technology and connected devices and the use of digital networks to improve people's lives through technology-embraced teaching, learning, research, and engagement. It's not about technology just for the sake of technology. It is what do we do with the technology that will distinguish us from other universities. It empowers society. However, a smart university, and I always love reading this out, combines the smart thing, which could be a piece of technology, with the smart me and the smart us. And it's okay. We need to believe more in ourselves that we're good enough and that we are actually smart. And collectively, we are a smart university. So, having said that, I quickly want to touch upon the vision and the mission and our values. What is it that we aspire to be? Our aspiration is indeed to be the leading university of technology on the African continent, but also being globally renowned for cutting-edge research. So those who are here as academics, as researchers, we expect you to become cutting-edge researchers through the innovation that you are going to create. And with graduates, here are our students, our choir this morning, that shape a better world for humanity. We live in a world, if we just think of the wars going on and the tensions across the globe, where we need leaders that can make the world a better place. I don't know what has happened the last decade or so, but the world is not the most nice place at the moment. And I think it's upon all of us to say enough is enough. We want to be part of creating a better humanity where people are free, people are safe, they have the freedom of speech, they have good living conditions, there's fairness, there's no discrimination, but we live in harmony. But our mission is to transform our students. If a student in your class is not a different person by the time he or she graduates, then you haven't done your part. We should transform the lives of our students. By doing that, we also improve the lives of families, desperately in need to break through their cycles of poverty as well. We need to add value to each and every student, whether we are in support staff or whether we're in the classrooms or through our research. Each and every one has to change our students' life for the better. We are, because of our students. We have jobs because of our students. And what wonderful job do we have to work with young people, to shape their mind, to shape their thinking. And that's a choice. We've all have taken the decision to become academics or being part of a university. and take that serious and change the life of our students. But the thing that I want to talk about, which is very important, is the values. Now, I'm not going to ask staff who have been here now for quite a while to quickly mention them, but I'm very proud of myself because I can do that. And without looking on my papers, we have 6 values, which is called kindness, restoration, Ubuntu or Ubunye, passion, technology astuteness, and accountability. So let me quickly just, in very brief, go back to all of that. And the one thing that I want to encourage you, if you come to work every day and as you enter your specific campus or office building, think of those values. Remind yourself of them. And challenge yourself by saying, today, I am going to be kind. I'm going to restore. I'm going to bring people together, even if they have huge differences. I'm going to be passionate about my work. I'm not going to walk like this. Or when I pick up the phone, No, that's not passion. We want people to be energetic, proud, and happy to be here. And I am going, if what I don't know about technology, if I can't work MS Excels or whatever, I'm going to learn. I'm going to embrace technology to be really good and comfortable making use of it. I'm going to keep myself accountable, and I'm going to keep my fellow colleagues also accountable if they don't live the values of this institution. So there are basically 7 focus areas in Vision 2030. Sometimes people think, focus area 2 talks about smart teaching and learning environments. That's Prof. Balkran's problem. I can't help him. He must make it happen. Or a smart CTS environment and workforce. No, that's Mr. Korn's problem. Nothing to do with me. As long as we keep on having such a silo mentality, we won't achieve our goals and aspirations. We all can play a role in each of these 7 focus areas. So let me start by saying focus area 1 is indeed the backbone of being a University of Technology. We say there, we want to have the best CTS workforce, knowledgeable people, people that can also help us to work better with technology, but obviously also staff on the very forefront of innovations and also having the ability to deal with cybersecurity issues. And that's a story on its own. But increasingly more, we are, and as Mr. Korns often say, it's not if we are going to be attacked, but it's about when. So working with technology means that must be a very strong backbone foundation. And I must say we have done well in this area in terms of the governance of IT. We also have the IT Governance Council Committee. And if I just think back, when 5 years ago, we haven't had Wi-Fi on all our campuses. Today, we don't think about it anymore. Then the smart teaching and learning environments. We have invested in a couple of smart technology classrooms, but it's about really making the most of technology to better support, amongst others, our students through learner analytics, for instance, on-time learning support, and adaptive learning programs. And I think we are constantly rethinking, are we offering the right qualifications? Is our program and qualification mix still relevant? Where can we do better? Then the research. Now, I believe a university's research must be relevant. There's actually no time for airy-fairy, blue sky research which ends somewhere and it's not of value to communities. So we want to make sure that we, through our research, create better quality of life of our immediate environments. And therefore we invest in mode 2 and 3, knowledge production. We're not a UCT, we're not Stellenbosch, we're not UWC. We have our own space in which we want to play. Smart human capital and talent. I hope, I know, you're going to be part of this smart human capital and talent. Human resources divisions, or what in our case, human capital, it's a big operation, and it's not always easy, Ms. Dwane, to keep everyone happy with salaries, with the grudges, the grievances they have, etc., etc. But we can help by being a very good employee. We have that responsibility to be a good, decent colleague for any one of your fellow colleagues. Smart internationalization. Universities are supposed to be places where people come across the world and we don't feel threatened by the nationality of other academics. We embrace diversity because through that we can create new knowledge. Some 2 years ago, myself and the Vice-Chancellor went to Boston and we visited Harvard and MIT. But what was very profound at Harvard was the diversity of students. They really came from all over the world, and it was almost this, excitement about learning from others and to be intellectually engaged with different worldviews, because by exposing ourselves academically and our students to different worldviews, we strengthen at the end our knowledge base. Then we also, focus area 6 talks about smart engagement and strong links with quintuple helix partners. We pride ourselves that we listen to what industry is telling us about our graduates. We listen to what the professional bodies are saying about our qualifications. If we don't do that, we won't be in a position to deliver work-ready graduates. And for that reason, we regularly also do tracer studies of what happened with our graduates. Smart student engagement and learning experiences is the last focus areas, and this speaks to the heart of our student life. A qualification, yes, you can get a qualification from any university in the world. You can do it online, but what is more important is to develop the leadership skills within our young people. When they leave here, that they will be responsible citizens and be able to stand their shoes in society. Therefore, and I think it's important that we remind ourselves, what are the kind of graduate attributes that all of us, not only the lecturers, but every one of us who engage regularly with the student should deliberately think of. The one is technological capability and foresight, but then resilience and problem solving. If we can contribute to a student's resilience levels, then we know whatever comes that student's way, he or she will be able to deal with that in a confident manner. Ethical capability. I think the Vice-Chancellor alluded already to that. But we want to deliver graduates that have an orientation to the public good. Not what is good for me, self-interest, being selfish, but what is good for the public good of my country, my environment, my university. An ability to discern whether professional practices are within ethical boundaries. And we must be each other's watchdog, especially when there are temptations to do the right thing all the time. And that is what we need to instill within our students as well. An ability to take ethical decisions, which is sometimes very hard, and an ability to act on unethical practices. The last big category is that of relational capability. We say in Vision 2030, ukuhamba izidla ngozomnye umuntu. And that means to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And if we can get that right, I'm sure the world will be a much better place. Then we will forget about our selfishness, but always think what it is to walk in someone else's shoes. So where does this bring us? And I'm closing now. You can choose. Life is all about choices. You can be a new employee moaning and growing and criticizing, focusing on all the negatives. Or you can say, I am going to make CPUT a better place. I'm going with my talents to make an input, to write to the Office of the Vice Chancellor and say, I've got an idea. We want smart ideas because we want smart people to think with us. So your career is in your hands. And once again, remember what I've said some few minutes ago. This is the best job. I don't want any other job. I'm so privileged to be in a university environment with all the diversity, with all the mad professors and funny academics, but that keeps me every day on my toes and makes me excited to come to work. Thank you for listening to me. If you have any questions about Vision 2030, you're welcome to contact me. We are going to do a midterm review. Now, you, the newcomers, will be midway, but we would also love to hear your reflections of Vision 2030. I'm sure you will, each and every one of you will get that opportunity. Thank you so much for listening to me, and enjoy the rest of the day and working at CPUT. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Hayswimmer, for that instructional presentation about where CPUT is going and how CPUT is going to get there through our people, amongst other things like our innovations, our research, etc., and just positioning ourselves to make a meaningful contribution to South Africa, to the world, communities, and in the same way, our students, enabling them to do that. The next item on the agenda is for me, as the Senior Director of Human Capital, to give you an overview of human capital. I had prepared a slide, and I'm not sure if I can get help just to project it, please. Perfect, thank you. So colleagues, I'm going to introduce you to some key people in human capital. And as I do that, I'm going to speak about what it is that they're responsible for. My apologies, I've been multitasking. Colleagues, I work with this esteemed team of human capital professionals who are placed physically, geographically, both at District 6 and Belleville. And as human capital, our purpose and our intention and mission is to work with each line manager, each employee, in order to fulfill the people agenda of CPUT. Ours is to do that in a way that is innovative and based off the understanding and realization of the business, the university business that we work in, and also to ensure that as we are facilitating that people agenda, that we are also working with line managers in order to develop and grow the talent that resides within the university and the faculties and the departments. To this extent, colleagues, allow me to introduce the team. I'm going to start with Mr. Bonginkosi Mkanyana, who's sitting over there, and who is our employment relations manager. My apologies, Mr. Mkanyana. We're in the process of developing an employee handbook, which you will all receive a copy of once it's ready. And part of that intention is to make sure that you understand exactly where everybody and everything is with respect to human capital. So Mr. Mkanyana joined us in June, July last year. He's a seasoned employment relations professional, and he heads up employment relations. He's based in District 6, and he's been very key and focal to our engagement around workplace harmony with organized labor, and also just stabilizing the institution through instilling an understanding of what is in the policies and what processes need to be followed from an employee conduct perspective. On the top left-hand side is Ms. Hendricks. She is the Learning and Development Manager. You've already met her. She's been facilitating today's program, and she's put together with her team, an incredible resource referred to as the SDA, and I believe that each one of you have received the link to it. Please use it. It's incredibly resource-rich, informative, and very useful to help employees as they navigate through this environment and our facilities, and also learning programs as well. Wellness, employee wellness, is a key focus of ours as human capital. I think for the world, what has happened is that there's been a realization and an appreciation for employers to understand where it is that their employees are in relation to their well-being, and in so doing, ensuring that they're able to fulfill the requirements of their roles. Ms. Esther Hazen joined us in around April last year, 2024, and has brought massive passion and knowledge and understanding of employee wellness, and what you'll see, you may have already seen, are some of the wellness drives. Today there's a wellness day. It's our third wellness day this week. And there's a lot more work that she does within organizational units around ensuring that employees and line managers understand what is on offer, and also initiatives and interventions that enable us to bring this wellness to the fore. In the middle, we have at the top Ms. Lucina Reddy. Ms. Esther Hazen is based at District 6. Ms. Lucina Reddy is our employment equity specialist. She's also based at District 6. And she will, you will encounter her through the work that she does, facilitating the development and also compliance with the Employment Equity Program. She has done a lot of work and continues to do work around making the CPUT environment accessible, and also just holding us to account in relation to the work that we do to fulfill what it is that is documented in our Employment Equity Plan. Who are we bringing on board? Who's progressing? How are they progressing? What investment are we making in our staff? And also understanding exactly who needs particular attention, support, accommodation for whatever it is that is a limiting condition that they might have. And one of the things that we've been doing since last year is just sharing information that will enable staff and line managers to understand that we want to know how it is that we can support you as an institution, as an employer, so that you're able to put your best foot forward. Ms. Nonjabulo Zondi is in the middle. She is based at District 6. She's our Organizational Effectiveness and Change Management Manager, and comes with a wealth of experience regarding organizational change. So you've heard the Vice Chancellor talking about how much transformation has happened in order to bring CPUT to where we are, and how much is going to be needed to take us forward when you consider what it is that we have articulated as our big, hairy, audacious goals. And a lot of that requires that we shift hearts, minds, and also just in our expectations around the environment. Nonjabulo works with individuals, with teams, and with the institution at large regarding the management of change and facilitating effectiveness of all of our resources. Mrs. Ncediwe Komoyi is at the bottom in the middle. She is the Director of Operations and Services. She's based here in Belleville, and she's responsible for just the massive infrastructure and operation that makes human capital what it is, because all of this work that we do at the end of the day needs to be accounted for, held, managed somewhere. And Mrs. Komoyi is based here in Belleville, and she is responsible for teams that sit both here in Belleville and at District 6. In the top right-hand corner is Mr. Lukanyo Changana. He is the Senior Business Partner. He's based here in Belleville and responsible for the translation of the people agenda within the various organizational units. You'll see him walking around and very hands-on as he manages that team of business partners. Mr. Seretse Moyo is also based here in Belleville. He's seated somewhere there. And he is responsible for, so he and Mrs. Komoyi have been the longest serving members of human capital, I believe, and within excess of 15 years, both of them. And Mr. Moyo, over the course of his employment, has worked in a number of different roles in a number of different organizational units. So he understands the CPUT environment, its history. He holds a lot of institutional memory and currently is responsible for the talent management team. And that runs that whole gamut of management of talent, understanding who it is that we are looking for, bringing into the university, and how we manage those careers, how we develop. So he works with very closely with Ms. Hendricks with the learning and development, just to facilitate all of that optimization of the talent that CPUT holds. And then Ms. Kirsten Popheim, I think she's the youngest in terms of her tenure at CPUT. She joined us in January this year, and she's our Remuneration and Benefits Manager. She's based at District 6 and reports to Mrs. Gomoy. So you'll see her here and you'll see her there, because it's important for her to maintain a presence across both campuses. Colleagues, we are, as I said, going to be sharing with you the employee handbook once that has been prepared and is ready. And I just want to invite each one of you to reach out to us in the event that you have a particular need, or you have any questions that you would like us to answer or provide you with support around human capital services, and also what the strategy for the university is around people. That brings me to the end of what I wanted to share with you as an overview of human capital. And I'm now going to move on to the next item, which is the introduction of our esteemed leadership, who is sitting to my left. And I think how I'm going to do this, because in spite of my best snooping, I haven't managed to get a file about each one. So I'm going to ask each of the executives next to me to please introduce themselves briefly. Thank you so much. And I'm going to ask each one of you leaders just to introduce yourself, your name, what it is, what area that you're responsible for, and yeah, you can share an interesting fact about yourself if you please. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Warm welcome to CPUT. We're a wonderful family here. And I'm happy you've joined us. As you will know, families live together in harmony, fight, but laugh also. My name is Andile Mg. I'm the Dean of Education, best education faculty in South Africa, let me tell you. Let me give you evidence. This year, I expected to take about 856 first entering students. I had 112,000 applicants. Wow. So you can see, you know, the demand for the Faculty of Education at CPUT. So what the VC was saying was, I'm now putting it into perspective. You know, I have a campus in Mowbray and another one in Wellington. We teach teachers in English in Mowbray and Afrikaans in Wellington. So we still produce for the country teachers who can teach in African schools. Thank you very much, and a warm welcome to everyone. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Thembisa Ngondi. I'm the Dean of Informatics and Design. Our home is in D6. We are placed in D6 and Roland Street. We are the faculty that is diverse and actually the core of innovation and in technology and design and media. We are the center of the university, especially in most cases when we have to make the university visible. We are the people that actually present that kind of visibility. As innovators and the home of design, and technology, we are striving as a faculty to bring in the vision or the dream of the university of being MIT of Africa. And I think we have already started that journey. As a faculty, we embrace transdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. We work as a faculty to engage with our industries in terms of producing solutions. And at the moment, we're excited of the projects that we're doing as a faculty that put the footprint of the university in terms of who we are as the university. But at the very same time, the kind of products and graduates that we produce. I must say, I think my colleagues and the Vice Chancellor will attest to that. We are proud to be the smallest faculty, but produce more postgraduate students in the university and research. As a faculty, we're looking forward to work with each and every one of you. We collaborate. We have already made the footprint in terms of supporting university projects. We are looking forward to engage and also collaborate with each one of you. We wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. I have had a time to speak, but just to put it right, I'm not only cracking the whip, according to Mr. Barney, I'm doing also other things. I'm the executive director, and I'm also responsible for marketing, communication, quality management, internal audit, enterprise risk management, compliance, business continuity, academic planning, transformation, change, inclusivity, and diversity. What else? I think that's it. Yeah. And then also assisting the Vice Chancellor with his special projects that he's running.
Good morning. My name is Msulwa Daca. I'm the Executive Director for Finance. Responsible for procurement. It has got its own director, Ms. Chaka, but also responsible for assets of the university, financial management and financial accounting, financial aid, student data, and the residence business unit. Residence business unit acquires beds on behalf of student affairs so that we have more student beds. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm Joseph Kyoko. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Applied Sciences. We had open day this past weekend, and one thing that struck me was when you asked learners about mathematics, they didn't run away. So it was good. It was a good sign. And I wondered why, and I thought, so we offer mathematics and those science things. And those that follow the Catholic faith, I mean, there's a new pope who has a degree in mathematics. It's interesting. The previous pope has a degree in chemistry. So I think there's something about science that goes beyond just the maths and things that we do. So, we found on 3 campuses, mainly on this campus, we offer some of the programs here at D6, where we offer programs that look after the ocean, the environment, things that look after us, because we have just one Earth. We can't go away to another home. It's this one. And if you don't look after it, then we are, yeah. And so we have those programs at the D6 campus. We have programs at Wellington campus, next to the farms. We offer agriculture there. And we look at offering programs from the farm to the plate. So we've got agriculture, We've got food science that's on this campus, and something that the VC mentioned about protein sources and chocolates and things like that. So one of the things that I think it was an invite to attend is to test chocolate. We make chocolate on this campus. And one of the innovative chocolates we make is not from milk from cows, but insect milk. So we'll invite you to come and taste delicious insect milk. We don't milk the insects, but you know, you make the larvae and you crush them and you get that, ew. Delicious, nutritious. So we'll invite you for that. And we're very proud to do what we can to provide innovation that makes a difference to society. Thanks very much.
Good morning. What Professor Kyoko forgot to add was that was what you tried this morning when you had your coffee. My name is Rishi Balkaran. I'm the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Learning and Teaching. I also am carrying the portfolio of the research, innovation and partnerships, technology and partnerships. So my job is to make sure that our students, all 38,000 of them, succeed from undergrad to postgrad, and it is to ensure that their lives at university are successful from the time we onboard them at the university until the time they graduate. So I'm sure you and I will be able to engage with each other at some point. And welcome to CPUT, and I look forward to engaging with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Pumzile Masala. I'm the registrar. I'm responsible for two main departments. Firstly, academic administration, which means from when the student applies, and we've already opened for applications, and in 2 days, we have about 46,000 students who've applied. So looks like we're going to have a big application pool. So from the time that they apply until they exit the university and graduate, I am responsible for that business cycle to ensure that they sit for examinations, their student records are proper, etc., etc. I'm also responsible for governance and legal, meaning that we have a council that operates within the laws. It approves the budget, it approves the strategy, it then conducts oversight to ensure that the university is operating according to the laws. Thank you very much.
Good morning, colleagues, and a warm welcome to CPUT. I'm Nicole Brooks, the Dean of the Faculty of Health and Wellness Sciences. Very excited to be here. My journey started at Cape Technicon about 23 years ago, so I've had a long journey now at CPUT, and very happy to be here. Within the Faculty of Health and Wellness Sciences, we have about just under 3,000 students. On the Belleville campus, a few programs. Then I have 2 at the D6 campus and 1 department at Tygerberg Hospital. And that's our dental sciences. Just to name the programs, we have the dental sciences, as indicated. I have wellness sciences, and I do see 2 of our new staff in the audience here. Then I have ophthalmic sciences, also on D6. And on this campus, we have biomedical sciences, emergency medical sciences, nursing science, and then the medical imaging and therapeutic sciences. So we receive over 100,000 applications for about under 3,000 places. When we checked yesterday, we were on about 8,000 applications already for our programs. So very high demand programs we offer within the faculty. We are also offering up to master's and doctoral levels, and we are really growing the programs within the faculty. So we hope to engage. I'm sure I'll encounter some of you as we go through the academic year, and just wanting to wish you all well and all the best. Do grow at CPUT, and I know you will have a good journey with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am not sure whether I am to welcome anyone because I myself am new. Having started at CPUT in April last month, so this is my second year. However, my second month, but I can still welcome anyone that is part of the Faculty of Business and Management Sciences. By the way, I am the Dean of the Faculty of Business and Management Sciences, the biggest faculty in the university. I am actually happy to be here, to be part of my CPUT, and I will undertake to make sure that the faculty becomes also one of the best faculty in the university, to be the MIT of the CPUT or of South Africa. We offer many programs in the faculty, being the biggest faculty with 12,000 students. We have many undergraduate programs are called business management, human resource, marketing, accounting sciences, including a hotel school and a graduate center. And in the graduate center, we offer industry programs, formal programs, short learning programs. So we have any kind of courses that you can think of that is business management related, both at undergraduate up to PhD levels. And I'm looking forward to work with all of you, whichever faculty you come from, department you come from. I look forward to working with you, in supporting you, in also receiving support from all of you to take the faculty to the next level, being the MIT of FBMS. Thank you.
Thank you to the leadership. There is one executive who is not in our midst due to priorities, and that is the Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor of Operations, Mr. Jerome Corns, and he is responsible for human capital, student affairs, property and infrastructure, and ICTS, which is our technology, communication and technology services. I'm sure you have met him already, and if you haven't, you'll meet him in the course of time, and he's based here at Belleville. Colleagues, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Mr. Shoni Kangala, and he's going to oversee the question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director. This is a very important session where you obviously, get to ask the questions following all the presentations that you would have heard from the VC to the Executive Director in his office, to the Senior Director, Human Capital, and I'm sure you've got several questions. We can talk a bit about ground rules, but I think the first one should just for me to let you know who I am. I'm Shoni Kangala. I'm the Director for the Center for Professional and Personal Development, CPPD, we call ourselves, and we are responsible for short courses. And I'm hoping that at some point you might want to introduce a short course yourself, and at that point we will obviously engage. And I look forward to interacting you during, that situation. Our session really would just want to have you to introduce yourself, who you are, your position and the section you are, faculty, division, or unit. And then from there, you can fire with your question. But in terms of your question, let's just make it succinct, concise, and not make speeches. So if you're gonna ask a 5-minute long question, don't be surprised if the answer is, we agree with everything that you've said. So colleagues, what else can we talk here in terms of ground rules? Yeah, I think that would really suffice. So I'm gonna try and take them at a batch of maybe 3 questions, and then from there we hand over to the executives. And the executive, it might be that your question specifically addresses, or rather is directed to a specific executive, or it could be that a question is general and whoever is appropriate for it will take the question. Some questions might be answered by more than one executive, depending on the nature of the questions. But other than that, please let's keep it straight and clear, colleagues. Are there any questions on the process of asking questions? Okay, thank you, colleagues. Yes, let's go for it. We're going to go around with the mic if you require it. Are you still warming up? There we go. I know the questions are going to be flying after this one.
Thank you very much. My name is Mzakolo Tame. I'm a branch librarian in Mowbray. I assume duties on the 1st of April. Mine is about the efficient integration into the university. Is there a turnaround time to that effect in terms of making sure that people or staff is efficiently integrated in terms of resettlement? Thank you very much.
All right, I thought she was going to have a question there. Is there any other question, colleagues, so that we can... It looks like this is going to be the shortest Q&A session ever. No other question? Going? Gone. Looks like that's all we got. Mr. Wani? The question is about if there's any sort of timeline about integrating a new person until they...
Good morning, colleagues. So integrating a person into the university happens at 2 key points. The first is your transition into employment. And for those of you who are out-of-towners, your relocation and resettlement into the metropolitan area. And the second relates to your integration within your organizational unit and the team that you work with and the line manager that you report to. And those processes, both the relocation and resettlement, happen within the first month. So in the time from our finalization of offer, extension, etc., until you arrive on the first of whatever month it is, that there's a process there to facilitate your relocation. And that includes resettlement for those people who have traveled from out of town. Very important when you are coming into a new city and finding your bearings, etc. And all of that is intended to happen by the time that you arrive, and then the resettlement allowance at the end of that first month. As far as integration into your organizational unit, that is something really that is dependent on the program that has been put together to familiarize yourself with the colleagues, the work, the environment, etc. And I think with respect to time to effectiveness, because that's an important one for us to understand, is that time to effectiveness, depending on how new the work itself is to you, so if that was a promotional role, and also understanding the way that we work from a governance perspective, from a culture perspective, the teams that you work with, etc. That can take anything between 8 and 12 months. In some instances, it could be longer. But what's important is that there is a program that has been put together to make it easy for you to make that transition and to understand exactly how it is you're going to operate in this environment. I hope that answers the question. If there's anything follow-up, please do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Twane. Colleagues, any other questions? Otherwise, we're gonna start asking you questions. Prof. Joko, don't tell me you've got a question.
So I'm not doing exactly what you said, threatening to ask questions, but to those that are new, when I joined CPUT just more than 10 years ago, from another institution, there were things that I thought, okay, this is different at CPUT. This is new, this is okay. Nice, different, or interesting, different. But I just thought through the facilitator, maybe those that have joined, is there anything that, the time that you've been here, you found different about CPUT? Different in any way, just if you mind sharing that. I've got my own thoughts when I joined, but yeah, might be interesting to hear if somebody that's joined last month, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, found something quite unexpected or different at CPUT, if they can share. Thanks very much.
Anyone willing to share?
Good morning, everybody. I'm from Pretoria, so when I came in on my second month, I received money, and that money was so scary. And because it was my month end and I wanted to spend money, me being me, I had to wait to find out where does that money comes from. So I had to wait because, well, I didn't know where that money comes from. Which later I found out after my weekend that it was my relocation money. So that was interesting, Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. I don't know if I should ask this question in Afrikaans because Prof. G prides himself that we are training lecturers in Afrikaans. En ek kan baie goed Afrikaans praat, van ek is van die Noord-Kaap. I'm just thinking, Prof, and it's a question to you that you've mentioned that we are training educators in Afrikaans or future educators. Is it part of the plans of the faculty that in the long term maybe we might be exploring other indigenous languages, because Afrikaans itself is an indigenous language. It's only in South Africa that people speak Afrikaans. So maybe if the faculty, the future plans, do you consider look at the Western Cape landscape, isiXhosa as the next one, maybe train educators in indigenous languages, because it's a challenge sometimes, the language barrier for kids in rural areas and so on.
Yes, thank you very much for that question. The first reason we teach Afrikaans, if I can clarify, is because of where we're situated in the peninsula. You know, in Wellington, for example, if you look where we're around the township, you know, so we service our own people. That is why Afrikaans is important to us. But your question is more about, you know, for example, we've got 3 languages that we accept in the faculty: English, Afrikaans, and isiXhosa. Let me go back a little bit. 17th January this year, all deans in South Africa were invited by the minister. We were at UJ. One of the issues we talked about there was early childhood education. If you listen to Minister Gwahube, she's talking about early childhood education. And that early childhood education is rooted in mother tongue education. Okay, so also, if you look at Funza Lushaka, the emphasis of the department now is to sponsor students who are taking the languages, yes, math, science, engineering, graphics, and so on. But the major focus is on the languages. You know, I've tasked some senior language specialists in the faculty to look at establishing a center for African languages. We are very unfortunate in the faculty in the sense that we do not have, you know, a faculty of humanities which was going to assist us. So we are doing it as education, you know, as education specialists, not as language specialists. But one of the things I'm sure you'll appreciate too is the fact that our question papers in education are in English, Afrikaans, and isiXhosa. And we do not mind which language you answer in. So you could be writing an exam and you choose the language you want to answer in. So in future, you know, we're starting the steps. This year, we've got 20 students who are doing early childhood education. We started this year, we were allowed by the CHE to start this. SACWA registered everything. So you can see we're starting the building blocks, you know, for the future. So we may say in 30, be teaching in isiXhosa. I noticed that there was a full thesis at Forte. I'm going to encourage that here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. G. Any questions, colleagues, which might have, you know, come to your thoughts?
Prof. Mercy, I was very tempted to write an email about this, so please bear with me. I am from your faculty. My name is Amanda. So I'm going to pose my question to the Vice Chancellor or the Chancellor. We have currently, where we have a system where we're carrying projectors to class. And I think my question is coming from industry and wanting, you know, trying to curb my enthusiasm as far as possible. What is our plans institutionally to move to a space where we've got the smart learning environment that is taking away the projector system? And I myself, I'm somebody that brings in that where I get my learners to interact in class. I don't appreciate standing in front of the class and just disseminating information. My class will tell you, all my classes, there's interaction. The smart technology I introduce into the class as far as possible. So I know it may be a bit of a difficult question, but it is of interest in terms of the system of carrying the projectors. If I look at teaching at night, sometimes it becomes difficult. As a woman, carrying it into the classroom, it does have a bit of a safety concern for me. So that's just my question being asked.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. I'm sure Professor Balkaran can actually answer that much better. But I think you are absolutely right in terms of carrying projectors to the classroom. For a university aspiring to be a smart university, it's an absolute no-no. But I must actually tell you that your faculty is the very first of the faculty to roll out a smart classroom. The previous dean invited us. There was a smart classroom that was rolled. And the idea is that we have to roll a number of these smart learning spaces, but they differ in terms of hierarchy. And that is actually in the vision of the Smart University, or Vision 2030 that you are rolling out. So I know that a number of faculties, they have actually budgeted even for this year for some of the smart classrooms. So I expect that our classes should be enabling our students to attend wherever they are, and of course they can actually get the material, they can get a podcast once the lecture has been done. So let me hear from the person who's at coalface, but it's at the heart of our strategies and institution. As to the extent, the degree of variation within different faculties, I cannot actually tell, but that is at the heart of it. Thank you.
Thanks for that question. Mr. Kankala, part of the rules of asking questions is that it shouldn't be difficult questions. It's just joking. So part of the, and Prof. Makita is also a new dean here, so she probably might not have known. So the lecturers at the Faculty of Business Management Sciences, we've got projectors in the labs, in the venues, and part of the problem was that they were not getting the necessary technical support, and sometimes when people came to the classrooms, the projector was not working, or we had load shedding, we had a number of issues like that. So the faculty staff then decided, because when the requisition came to me, I'm responding more immediately to your problem, and then I'll come to your teaching style. So when they put in a requisition to buy these data projectors, my question was, why do we have to be carrying projectors to the classrooms? Why do we have to buy so many? Because we could have them installed in the classroom. And I was told that these are the issues, and this is what it is that lecturers would be happy with. And I didn't want to argue with lecturers, so I signed that, and that is why people have purchased that. But I think the long and short of that question is that we should have them installed in the classroom, and if there is a need for it to be used, we can use that. That's the first part. The second part is that if your teaching style, remember, technology is just a means for learning. Our focus is not on the technology, our focus is on the learning. So whatever it is that you can do to enhance the learning, you must do so. So if your teaching methodology, your pedagogy involves other mechanisms, we would encourage you strongly to do that. So if you feel that a slide presentation, and some call it death by PowerPoint, or if you want to, you feel that that is not the way in which you'd like to teach, then so be it. And of course, you're welcome to use other strategies, other methodologies, which we would certainly encourage. Of course, learning is the objective. And so my once-off kind of response would be that we are moving into the development of smart learning venues. And part of the venue, we called it at one stage smart classrooms. And smart classrooms came, an ideology that came from during COVID, where we thought that remote learning was the only thing that was required. And we got stuck into that mode. And when we started to develop the idea around smart classrooms, we then realized that when we looked at our learning and teaching and assessment policy, the idea of learning became an important component, not necessarily having smart classrooms, because you could have a smart classroom and it doesn't encourage learning. So we've then revisited our concept of smart classrooms into smart learning spaces, because it created the conditions for a number of different types of learning, different types of learning strategies, and different types of teaching methodologies to be adopted in a smart learning space. And so what faculties are doing is that because we're rolling this out on a number of campuses, and we are a multi-campus university, we thought that we would start off firstly with putting at least one in each campus, and thereafter rolling them out further into classrooms and specialized venues. So faculty deans have agreed where these things should be. And the Faculty of Management Sciences, by the way, has introduced one smart classroom. I won't call it smart learning space, but a smart classroom which is on the District 6 campus, which is being used quite extensively, I must add. So the smart learning spaces are being introduced. The Belleville campus, if you know the IT center, that is where the first one would be introduced. And of course, we've benchmarked that internationally as well as with all of the universities in the country, together with the Western Cape, the universities in the Western Cape. And we think that we have a nice model to have that to be installed. So this year, we would be having the one at the Belleville campus done. And then, of course, as and when we've done with that project, we will then go on to the other campuses. And we might possibly do more than one campus in this year in terms of the smart learning spaces. Of course, that would be the first phase of that. The second phase would be then rolling that out to every classroom. But that doesn't preclude you from using any kind of teaching strategy or methodology that you may have to put stuff across. Often people learn by the way they were taught in the past. And if you feel that that's a more constructive way of doing so, then we would highly encourage that. So if you feel that dragging your data projector into the classroom is an onerous one, and you have a better way of teaching, we are more than welcome to have you to do that. But of course, there is no excuse for not having if the data projector is not working in the venues, I look to the dean, and she will certainly address that in those venues if they're not working. Thank you. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Prof. Bakar. And as you can see, we can even mitigate difficult questions. Where a question is difficult, it will be answered by more than one person.
Good morning. I'm Ashley de Jager. I'm a lecturer at the Construction Management and Quantity Surveying Department. And we've got very humbling students. It's a great department to be part of. But I teach first year quantity surveying measurement for my first year students, and they are a cohort of 180. So our venues don't allow capacity for 180 students at one time. So what happens is when you've got QSing or measurement, you need your A3 architect plans to identify technology and measurements and all of that. So when I teach, I do provide my students with the physical drawings, but almost 30 of them or 20 of them are seated on the stairs because there's not enough space for them in the lecture venue. So I don't know, it's not a small issue to resolve, but is there any possibility to look at extending venues, extending capacity inside of our venues to accommodate the large cohort of students in our department?
Looks like it's you, Prof, again. I hope that's not difficult.
It seems like I'm going to be standing here for a long time. Thank you for that question. I'm quite aware of that. In fact, there are other departments as well in the engineering faculty. Prof. Ramsarup is not here, where the classes are not, the number of students are quite large, and of course we are repeating the lectures just to accommodate for the large numbers. Now, yes, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The dean is certainly aware of that. He has also raised that with me. And part of the other issue is that, firstly, the demand is so big for engineering, that, and the university is focusing a large portion on our STEM-related subject areas and expertise. And of course, if you look at our enrollment plan, we're targeting around almost 53% of our PQM to be in the STEM area. So it's really a big thing. So the first part is that, yes, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You would have heard Prof. Hayes Swimmer speak about the merger at the university. And whilst we've merged as staff and so on, the thing that's taking a little longer, and for good reason, is the consolidation of faculties. Remember, she spoke about having 2 staff members and so on. We've consolidated all of that. But remember, the buildings and the large, huge infrastructure still needs consolidation. We've done quite a bit, actually. And so and a lot of these things have a domino effect, because essentially you would have had 2 universities with 6 disciplines. How do you bring now having the same 6 disciplines on multi campuses, but ensuring that we're not replicating or duplicating them? So the idea then is the consolidation process, and the Faculty of Applied Science is putting up a building. The Faculty of Health and Wellness has purchased a building at the Tiger Valley. And so there are a number of different movements that are taking place that will result in us creating more space for example, for the Faculty of Engineering, the Built Environment, the Faculty of Health and Wellness. And at the moment, the deans are having a bit of a tug of war when we have our meetings, because it's a grab for venues. But I think the idea is to ensure that we consolidate on a single space. It improves our efficiencies, not only from a teaching and learning perspective, but also from a number of other perspectives around efficient use of space. So we're doing that. Of course, there's also some of the business management programs that are using some of your venues, and soon they will move as soon as the FID, the applied science colleagues move into the Belleville campus. So there's a lot of shifts that are taking place. And of course, these are related to buildings and building of infrastructure, etc. And Prof. Kyoko, if I'm not mistaken, I think the green light is already given for the building to be implemented. And you can speak a little bit more about those shifts and how that's taking place and how that will impact on a number of other faculties. Thanks.
Thank you, Prof. You want to add?
Yes, just towards, thanks, Prof. Bakran. So as part of the consolidation process, we are moving the applied sciences programs here, some that are at the D6 campus. And to facilitate that, we've just started the building of a new building as you get into the gate. On this campus on your left, you now see a bulldozer and some concrete and and some fencing to fence off the area. And part of the thinking is the lecture venues in there will have large venues, and those that you can open up and you can close to accommodate the different numbers of students. And obviously, if we've got large spaces, then we can have permutations of which students can use which venues. But certainly going forward, I think some of the buildings were built when things were different and the need for space was much less than it is now. But going forward, we are including that in the planning. So the new building, the lecture theaters are those collapsible ones, or you can open up to double the capacity and then reduce it again and so on. And that should alleviate some of the space issues. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Hugo. I can't believe that it started like there were not going to be questions, but all of a sudden we are running over time, our allocated 15 minutes. But we are ahead of the program, so we still have 5 minutes if there are any other questions.
Thank you. My name is Nomawe Tutungela. I am a lecturer in FID and the IT department. So my question is also relating to the classroom. We have a lecture theater in our department that is big to hold a whole number of students, but most of the seats are broken. and the students are using the hard, loose chairs. And also in our labs, some of the labs do not have air conditioning on them. And also in the building, the toilets, especially the toilets for the females, sometimes most of them are not working. So yeah, that is my question. Because always the students, then they would come and complain to us.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. We have already engaged on this matter. This morning, around 1 a.m., I approved air conditions for two labs that we want to improve the ventilation. In terms of the classroom, I have already engaged with, because it is also an audit funding, with the ED Finance in terms of how we can move some of our funds so that we can address those audit queries. I am consolidating my list. When it comes to the access to the bathrooms, or maybe it is one of the risks that is put also in our meeting by Ms. Mtikitiki. We are following up with facilities to come and assist in that. It is really beyond the faculty control, but we are trying our level best. And I recall the DVC also raised that very strong when it comes to facilities and the VC and the support of some of the resources. It is not just the bathrooms only, it's quite a number of things, but at an institutional level, those items have been looked at in terms of, I must say also, when it comes to resources, our faculty has tried at the level best to use some of that stream funding to make sure that we improve some of our spaces in terms of actually relieving the council fund strain, because it is also the funding that is one of kind of the challenges. But we're trying our level best, as indicated, that yes, we're working on that and we're addressing such. And hopefully by the end of the next term, myself and ED Finance will have a good resolution that will address some, not all of them, based on how much we have at the faculty.
Thank you, Prof. Tondi. I've already been captured this side.
Thank you very much. Greetings, colleagues. I am Siabonga Mzizi. I'm a lecturer in the public relations space, informatics and design. Mine is not a question, but it's just a comment. Good gesture. So I've worked in private higher education for 11 years. And I want to answer the question, what do you see different? When I came to the CPUT space, specifically the informatics and design space, there's no fear, there's no sense of fear. When we worked in private higher education, we were scared for the longest time. So when you walk into the space, it is warm, open door policy, you could ask questions, they know you by name. It was actually a shock when Prof called me by name, say, hey Sia, how are you? How are you finding the space? How's your studies going? So that element of fear that you find when you come from other institutions, it's not there. I don't know about other faculties and departments, but it's a warm culture that you find in the informatics and design. I just wanted to say that it's a shock. Some of us have a trauma from where we come from, but it's amazing. I'm liking it, and it's not changing. It's May, I started in January, and I'm like, wow, actually, this is the job. So thank you very much for that.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Colleagues, we have run out of time in terms of our allocated time, but I wouldn't mind if there is just one last question, if there is. All right, thanks.
Good afternoon. My name is Kelly, and I am part of the Health and Wellness Science Department. The question is not directed at anyone specifically. I just wanted to know if you can explain the leave no student behind policy. Like, I understand that there is, like, you leave the 99 for the one, but if there is one that doesn't understand, and there's no understanding, so you have a different approach in your teaching. But if there is the one that is just there because they don't want to be there, the interest is not there, how do you navigate that?
Okay, before you answer, whoever is going to answer, I'm going to just accommodate this last one, right?
Thank you for the opportunity. Good day, everyone. My name is Tabani. I'm newly appointed at this department. Actually, I just have two questions. There are two different people. I'm hoping one is for our Honorable Vice Chancellor. I know everyone is asking academical questions, but I'm curious. Prof, where are you born? And my second question is, I know the institution gets funding from the government. I just wanted to know what other external fundings that the institution gets, and if it does, from where. Thank you.
I hope that question does not violate the POPIA Act.
Thank you very much. Let me use this opportunity to maybe summarize a couple of points and just add a slant in terms of my takeouts in the discussion that we had. I think the first question was on the process and event that was asking about a timeline in terms of the integration. It was a very interesting question and I think well answered, but I also wanted to underscore the fact that it is a process. And as a process, and institutions, in fact institutions, do have what is called a probation. And many a time when you're talking about a probation, people actually think about so many things. But it's an opportunity as well to ensure that you are efficiently integrated into an organization. So I'm actually saying it's a two-way stream, that's my take. And I would like that from your end as well, make every effort. You are here now. We are recruited you, seeing something in you. Make an effort to ensure that now you become part and parcel of the family. And of course, you can actually make the duration even shorter. And then the second summary that I wanted to talk about is around the whole question of efficiency as far as enrollment is concerned. My takeout here is also remember that we have what is called an enrollment plan. The number of students, the size of the classroom, and the number of professors, all of them are related in the FTE. So I think it's important that at all time when you talk about the numbers, we actually take into account that the numbers are also balancing. Otherwise, we'll have a problem in terms of over-enrolling, which is, of course, coming up with a penalty from the department. So to answer your question, we are STEM majority. That's the shape and size of the institution. All University of Technology, if you look at it, we are STEM majority. But I think what is critical is that we have to be efficient as far as timetabling is concerned, because there is no faculty, there is no department that must actually hoard a space. So we must actually be very creative when it comes to timetabling across the institution. That's my take. Then the second point that I also wanted to highlight around really basic things, let's get them right, Prof. Ngondi. The issue of aircon, toilet, and chairs. Those, for me, are non-negotiables. And it is something that must be addressed ASAP in terms of actually our budgets. And it's a pity that Mr. Cons is here, because he's a person who can actually answer that with authority. Those are the basics, and I don't want us to talk about MIT of Africa and still actually have issues with broken chairs and toilet. That will embarrass me. So let's tackle that particular aspect. It does not actually need rocket science. Now, I will attempt a question of innovation in teaching and learning, or learning and teaching, to say, when you teach, I'm actually talking as a teacher now, there are fast learners and slow learners in class. What do I do as a teacher? Do I run with the fast learners, or do I pace myself with the slow learners? One thing that I was taught in kinetics in chemistry is that the rate of any reaction is dependent on the slowest reagent, the slowest reacting reagent, the slowest reagent. If I wanted to go to Cape Town now from here, even if I can actually have a Lamborghini, that is very fast, as to when am I going to arrive in Cape Town is dependent on the slowest car on the road. It's not dependent on the engine of my size. I think that's the answer. And then, of course, the last one that I wanted to, where I was actually born, I'm a Free Stater through and through. I was born and bred in the Free State. I'm a Free Stater, although I came from Gauteng when I was coming here, but I'm a Free Stater, the eastern part of the Free State. That's why when you're talking about, somebody was talking about Africans, yeah, I guess I can't fade to prove. I got Africans pride. And then, of course, there is also a question around the sources. We got a variety of sources. We got subsidy from government, but we also got a lot of subsidy from philanthropic organizations. We are also having a lot of money from government entities, particularly those that support research as well as innovation. So, of course, we are also getting a lot of money from our alumni who actually give to the institution. And of course, after some time, after I've spent some time at CPUT, you'll qualify as well to be a convocant of CPUT. And what we do encourage, we encourage people to give. If you give a 10 rand, it will go a long way in assisting a needy student at CPUT. But we are also strongly fundraising as an institution. So I'm the chief fundraiser of the institution. So we are helping a number of students. And there are special projects in my office where we are ensuring that some of the students that you are seeing here, we are making them to be the same as other students in terms of actually clothing them and feeding them to make sure that they don't look different. So we have those particular projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much, VC. Thank you, Program Director. As I said, we have run a bit out of time, but thank you so much. You asked a lot of questions. It didn't look like we were going to ask lots, but here we are. So thank you very much, colleagues. Program Director, I hand over back to you. Thank you.
Thank you to Shani for assisting us with the Q&A. Before we ask Prof. Balkaran to offer us with a few words of thanks and closing the program, I would like to call one of our graduates also to the stage to close this program with a poem that she wrote for our new employees and for our executive. Kurt, can I just have your assistance, please, to assist with Amandisa Deco's background tune. Amandisa is also a graduate of CPUT, and she's going to do a poem for us in closing before Prof. Balkaran ends the program. Amandisa?
We do more than just create futures. We prepare for tomorrow. We shape destinies, driven by unity and strengthened by diversity, rooted in our values and core beliefs. But most importantly, we are a family, your second home. Welcome to the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. It's more than just a title. It's a trifle of power and greatness. It blends dreamers, heroes, intellects, leaders, and innovators. Here, the sky is not our limit because we are stars shining through galaxies. Unstoppable, they will know. We are a vision in motion. We understand that life is more than just living. Can I step? I'm sorry. Thank you. We are a vision in motion, where goals are activated and pursued. We know that there's more to life than just being. We are here to arise and shine because indeed our light has come. This is our world beyond our wildest dreams, weaving magnetic forces of excellence and brilliance. Welcome to our radar, where you'll meet like-minded people that birth purpose into beings. It's in these walls where talent and hard work guides us into being, in our becoming a location that yields, living a life with meaning and purpose. We dance to the rhythm of our adversities, telling stories of our pain and how indeed we overcame every challenge, every obstacle, every problem. We continued to reign. Exuding an unquenchable fire, we are more than just an institution. We are innovators, leaders, trailblazers. We don't just create futures, we shape them. You are in CPUT, where greatness begins and it never dies. Thank you.
Thank you, Amandisa. Very emotional. Yes, indeed, and very deep. Thank you so much for rendering that poem, specially written to all of you employees. On that note, colleagues, while you catch your breath, because you can see the quality and the talent that CPUT produces, and that is also what we're going to see in each one of you and what we are already seeing.
Thank you, Amandisa, once again. Prof. Balkaran, please do us the honor to close the program and thank everyone for being here.
Thank you very much, Shahida. Colleagues, let's give another round of applause to Amandisa. That was really wonderful. Thank you. It's my job to say thank you, but I think the poem was quite apt. Welcome to CPUT. And I think it's going to take you, it's really, whilst it's an end of this particular orientation or induction, it's going to take a long time for you to really immerse yourself within the CPUT. And I think what you should do is take time to visit the campus, the different campuses. How many of you have been to Wellington, the Wellington campus? See, I see a few hands there. But go and, when you get time, go and visit that campus. This is a beautiful one. And then the District 6 campus, we've got Mowbray, and of course, if you are not at Belleville, go and visit the campus as well. And meet the people, meet other academics, immerse yourself with our students and learn about their diversities. It will make you grow within the university space. So let me say firstly, thank you for being part of this induction. I'm sure that you would have learned a lot just from the few hours that we had spent together today. This is certainly not the end. We would be engaging with you as executive management and the rest of the management team. We are more than, our doors are open, and you are more than welcome to engage with us at any point. I hope this was very useful to you. Let me say thank you then to our human capital department, who's really done an excellent piece of work. And of course, they would be engaging with you throughout your stay at the university. So thank you so much for hosting this event. It's truly been wonderful. I want to thank the MCD, our Marketing and Communications Department. They've been really great. And also thank you to our exhibitors. When you do have lunch after this, go and have a look at the exhibitors of the various different kinds of services that are offered at the university, and have a look at the kind of diverse range of things that we do at the university. And it will really interest you to note that we have some of the leading staff that take care of some of the services that we offer at the university. Let me say thank you to the Vice Chancellor and the management team at the university. Some of them are new, some of them are not here, but I'm sure that you would have an opportunity to engage with them. And also then all of the presenters that have presented today, let me say thank you to them for doing such a wonderful piece of work. I hope you enjoy lunch. I know that Prof. Kyoko spoke and the Vice Chancellor spoke about alternate forms of protein. Possibly at another lunch we will be able to give you a chance to sample that, but we don't have that here today. So enjoy your lunch, and I hope to chat with you during lunch, and of course have an opportunity to chat with the rest of the management team. Thank you, and have a pleasant day further.